Hey folks, how is everybody doing here today? All right, you're in the right place because we have an awesome session.
Morning.
This is Mark. I'm Mike. I'll do a quick introduction. Today we're going to be talking about using Office on the web for great collaboration and productivity. And I'll just sort of ask quickly, how many people are familiar with Office Online in the crowd? I've used it a little bit. How many people have never heard of it? They're in the wrong room. Right room, still never heard of it? Okay, most people have some familiarity. Well, if you're familiar in the past, I'll talk about what's different. If you're not familiar, we'll sort of talk about it a little bit in terms of its overall purpose. And we want to really talk about how it can actually make your company a lot more productive. Just a quick introduction. I'm the group program manager for Office Online. Just a fancy title as the person that runs the engineering effort. I've been at Microsoft 20 years. And my little tidbit is that I literally put SharePoint in the dictionary. Does anyone want to question my ability to back up the claim that I literally put it in the dictionary? Anyone? Does someone want to deny me? Because here you'll see this is actually our bug database at Microsoft, or it was circa 2002. And in 2002, I entered a bug that said type word, enter the word SharePoint, and it has a little red squiggle under it. It shouldn't have a red squiggle. SharePoint should be a word in the dictionary. Then I actually added the word SharePoint to the actual Office dictionary, so every time you type it in an email, it doesn't give you a red squiggle. So I think I give the claim that I actually did literally put SharePoint in the dictionary. It's been a while since I've worked on SharePoint, but if you ask me questions about how it worked 10 years ago, I can tell you all about it. Newer stuff, good at the other sessions. Quick thing I'll start with is I'm just going to show this is an advertisement for Office Online. We were actually called Office Web Apps about 4 or 5 years ago. And we'll talk about sort of how we talked about the product then, and then a little bit how we talk about the product now. So I'll just sort of start real quick, just kind of showing you this video and how we did the advertisement. So do we have the audio playing?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
Kind of work we look.
try that again here.
What can do today? Anything catch your eye? Old school, I like it.
Right here. Left side.
No problem. Everything's good, man. Everything's good. We're almost done. Check it out, bro. Good, huh?
Unlike Google Docs, Office Web Apps keeps the formatting and style of your Office documents just the way you want them.
That's perfect. I love it.
Go online and compare. Then tell us why your ideas deserve better.
Thanks, folks. All right. Well, other than our advertising budget being cut for a few years after that, we did there. We really used to talk about you could open things with the Office Web Apps. You could open stuff on now today Office Mobile, and it was all about round tripping. We'd have great formatting. You could use the Word Desktop client. That's all still 100% true. It's a huge part of the value proposition of using the product that you can use Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint on any device, including the web or the desktop, and it's great. But now we really want to talk about how you can really use web to do really sort of deep and rich sort of collaborative work. And so I have sort of 3 messages for folks to leave here today. One is that Office Online is ready today for great everyday work. You can use it for quick edits. You can use it in various scenarios, but you can actually use it to create real spreadsheets, real presentations, more of the kind of deep Office productivity scenarios folks are familiar with. We're going to have a demo of that coming up. You'll get to see quite a bit of the improvements that we've actually made in the product. You also get to see a lot of the collaboration capabilities. Office Online is the best endpoint for collaboration, and working with other people, you can share with them with confidence because anybody with a web browser, which is pretty much anyone with a device, can use Office Online and participate in that collaboration. So you don't have to worry about if they have an older version of Office or no version of Office at all. And finally, Office is very committed to being cross-platform. And so obviously we work very hard on Office for Windows, and that will always be our flagship. But we'll continue to make Office great on the Mac, on the iPad, and of course on the web that we're discussing here. And so going forward, expect to see more and more improvements as we really bet big on having Office be great wherever our customers are. So I'm going to do a quick test here, sort of add a point. So a lot of people ask, who should be using Office Online? Again, am I in the right room for sort of this talk? And so I'll do a quick profile test and sort of add 1 point for each question where you answer yes. Do you want your company culture to be more collaborative? I suspect most people will say yes to this. With Office Online, everything is in the cloud by default. Everything is inherently shared. In fact, the sharing rates we see when the documents are in the cloud versus not in the cloud are like 10 to 1 or 5 to 1 or something along those lines. So just putting stuff in the cloud by itself really gets people to do sharing and collaborate more often. Do you have workers in the field? We got a lot of companies, places like Home Depot, Gap, Carrefour, Starbucks, where they have a lot of sort of frontline employees, and they often like Office Online because it's a very light, easy way to use Office. Do you have employees bring their own devices? If you have machines that are not managed by IT, Office Online just works. You don't have to worry about them having the right version. It's going to work and collaborate with, even if you do have the latest version, Office 365 at your company. Do you want to track millennials? We know that a lot of millennials basically use the web for all their productivity, whether they're using us or competitor software. When they come to a lot of enterprises, they're actually demanding sort of inherently collaboration-based software. And we want to offer that with Office, and particularly with Office Online. Do you work with external partners? You might have the latest and greatest Office 365, but if you're working with external partners, you're not sure what they're going to have. You can share with them with confidence, and they can actually get access to the latest Office 365 when they're collaborating with you. Do you have your own web-based solutions? Office Online really integrates great with any of your own sort of line of business web applications. We don't have a session here, but we do have a whole extensibility API and program around that that folks can look at. And last, do you want your content secure, private, and compliant? Everything in the cloud is automatically protected by all the security and compliance of Office 365. And then do you want to choose between creating rich documents and collaboration? This is kind of a trick question. The answer is no to that one. You don't want to make that choice. Really, with Office Online, you can have the best of both worlds. You can really have the power of Office productivity with all the great collaboration that you want from the modern workforce. This is just kind of a summary slide, and I'll kind of skip through this pretty quickly because I want to get to the demo. But it kind of talks about the benefits of Office Online, and it really sort of gets back to the things we talked about before. It really is the anywhere solution for Office. Whether you prefer to use the browser, whether you're on a device, whether you don't want to deal with the management stuff, whether you're integrating with your ecosystem, it really is Office's presence on the web. The second, it really is built for teamwork. It is the place that we have our richest story around collaboration, around sharing, chat, activity feeds. It's really sort of inherently built for people to collab and work together. And the last one might be a little bit, it's also about intelligent services. It's really built from the beginning as a service. You might hear a lot about intelligence at Microsoft or even within Office, and you're going to see many cases where these intelligent services actually sort of show up in the web first and use the web as a place to sort of demonstrate their power and for us to actually do some of that machine learning. Again, in the demo, we'll show you some examples of that. So what companies are using Office Online? Well, in prepping this, I decided that I'd try to find a few companies that were using Office Online, check which ones gave us permission to actually show their logos on a slide. And I built a slide, and these are some companies that are using Office Online today, and I put them on a slide, and I was like, oh, this kind of looks nice. And then I got tired of looking at logos, so I just went ahead and copied all the text here. And you can see it's a pretty healthy list of companies that are using Office Online and Office 365 today. Obviously, some of those companies are using it deeply, some of those maybe in more pilot fashion, but it really is taking off. We are seeing a lot of usage. You can make it better on your company. As I said before, Microsoft really is committed to the product and committed to being a great cross-platform story. And then before I get to the demo, I will sort of speak real briefly. It was about a couple months ago. I was actually in the hospital. I was fine. I was visiting a friend in the hospital in the cardiac unit at the University of Washington. And while I was there, I saw on the screen Excel Online. And actually, it's a spreadsheet that they're running. It keeps track of when patients get their medications. It keeps track of which people are on call and when they're visiting in their different sort of schedule. This is a customer that I've sort of never worked with. And for me personally, it was sort of an interesting moment to actually see the product that my team works on and sort of runs being used in a mission-critical thing. In fact, I think it actually says, welcome to cardiology critical care. I think we have something in our license saying don't run any life support systems on top of it, but here they're obviously using it for mission-critical work. And it just, again, reinforced the importance that, hey, I know people in the real world are using the product. We're very committed in Office. We know how important it is to your businesses and the way that, really honestly, sort of the world runs. All right, so I'm going to flip over, and I'm going to show you a demo of some of the great stuff that's in Office Online. So I'm going to start where you always start. So one easy thing to remember, to use Office 365, always go to office.com. It's really your home for Office on the web and all of your experiences on Office 365. For folks familiar with Office 365 today, it looks a little bit different. This is actually a new version. It's being rolled out over the next few weeks into production. And we've done a lot of things. We've really sort of simplified and made the UI a lot cleaner. So you see sort of the tiles and the apps that you sort of use the most. Here's an example of intelligence that shows recommended documents. So there's an algorithm that looks at what's been shared with me, what might be most interesting, and shows it to me as recommended. Here it puts my recent documents right on the top of Office.com. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on this Word document here. I'm going to open up in Word Online. The first thing, if folks are familiar with Office Online, today we actually go to a view mode. We're now going to go to edit mode by default. And we can do this because we really improved greatly on the fidelity of the document. So now when you're working in the edit mode inside Word Online, we're really going to show that document faithful and rich as you'd see it on any other endpoint. And so in this case, I see a table of contents. I can go and I can navigate in that table of contents. I can click Denver. For folks that are familiar, again, table of contents is a new feature, having that inside of Office Online. I can type some text, and I can do that. Of course, I can share from Office Online. This is a new sharing dialog. If folks have seen this in other demos, it's because we have the same sharing dialog across all of the Office endpoints. So whether you're on the desktop, whether you're going to be on the Mac or the iPad, it's the same thing. So I'll do it with Lydia and Alan and Grady, and I will click Send and share this out with them. And they will get that. Then here I will go and show you the most important feature that we added, which is the ability to add emojis. I can do the little smiley face here. So this is kind of a little joke, but we actually added this for the education market, people in schools that use our product. We've actually seen a lot of cases where people are actually using this in enterprise. We're actually kind of surprised with our telemetry on how much usage we saw. In many cases, people are actually using it for real productivity scenarios. So they actually insert a little emoji with a little red with a dash through it. I think lead in the water is probably a bad thing. And again, you can actually use this and it would show up across all of your endpoints. And now actually see here, I'll see that Grady is typing. So you can actually see my friend Grady right here. Mark's his real name in life, but we'll call him Grady for the demo. Is typing. And again, this is just showing the real-time co-authoring capability that we have in Office. We've had this in the web for years, but we'll show you a little bit more later about some of the richness that we have in real-time co-authoring. All right, so now I'm going to click Edit in Word. Again, one of the great things about using Office is you really have your choice of using it across endpoints. So in this case, I want to maybe use the full desktop version of Office. And of course, I'll have all the richness of Office in my, at my hands. And I'll scroll down to the very bottom of this document. Maybe I'll use the scroll bar. Sorry about that. And I'll click Plans for next month. And I'll click New Comments. And I'll be like, hey, at Grady. First, so you'll see at mentions here. So when I started typing Grady's name, just sort of GRA, it does sort of autocomplete with the various people. So I can pick Grady. And I'll be like, get on it. Something like that. And I will send. So now I actually at mentioned Grady. And he's eventually going to get a notification to let him click on that and actually see that I actually at mentioned him in that document. I also have the full richness of Word here. So I can go and I can do anything I can do in Word. So I have all the capabilities of that I can do. But before we see Grady's thing, I'm going to flip real quickly to an iPad. And let's hope this guy comes up. Type my passcode. Is that guy coming up on the thing?
Yeah, it's going.
All right, let me try unplug and replug, and if not, we'll skip this part of the demo. Oh, there you go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open the document here. You'll see it actually showed up on my recent because it was shared with me right there. And I can go and start typing on the thing here. And
I'll just switch to
all the way back to the top here. You can see where I'm typing. So as I'm typing back and forth, you can sort of see the text here on the iPad, and then Mark switches. So actually, he's showing it on there. It's that quick. So I was actually typing on the iPad and actually even confused, sort of seeing my text show up there on the big screen, back and forth. So here we have real-time co-authoring between the web, Office on Windows, and of course, Office on the iPad. We have that on Android as well. Really great stuff. All right, so I'm going to switch over now to Grady's machine, right?
Which is just this one. Sorry, excuse me.
Yep.
So I'm going to, you remember earlier I got an at mention from Mike, my boss. So just give a moment to load. So here's that mail that I received. I open that, it says you've been mentioned in a document, so I know. So I'll go, okay, I need to go look at that document. It's from my boss. But not only that, it'll actually scroll down to where he made the comment. So in a larger document, it's very productive. I get
so it actually deep linked is the term that we use to it. So even though it was a big document, it actually took you straight to that comment. Hopefully, Grady, you're going to get on and start working on this.
Get on it.
All right.
So I need to make some changes. So I'll just go in here to review.
Grady, I don't trust your changes. Can you track changes for me?
Yeah, so I'll just, a new feature is I can now just track just my changes.
Right, so this is the familiar track changes feature that we've had in Office for probably decades. But now we actually let you turn it on at the document level, but actually individuals can say, hey, just my changes, track it. So if I'm the author of the document, I might not want track changes on, but if I share it with somebody else, I can have it so they have track changes on, and sort of just their changes that are actually being tracked. So Grady's actually making a bunch of changes in there.
Just pin that.
Yep, no problem. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my PC here real quick. And so in my PC, so this is basically an updated version of the document that I have. I have some comments. I'm going to go back in the Word here, and I'll do insert picture. Maybe I'll insert a picture. Anyone here from Australia down under? Do we have anyone? Well, just in case, I will do the picture upside down so it all makes sense for you. I can resize. Again, just kind of showing some of the richness that we have in Word Online. I can do square left. You can actually see the text wrapping around the picture. We've really invested hard to make sure that the product has kind of the wealth of capabilities that you would expect from Office. Now, for bullets, I could do custom bullets, so I can make these smiley faces if I wanted to. That's probably not the best choice. Probably a more realistic choice here would be to actually make these a multi-level list, and I can do that, again, showing the richness that we have. So I can now 1.2.1.3, the kinds of things that you'd expect inside of Office. I'll scroll down here a little bit, and I'll talk about some of our intelligent services that we have. The first thing you'll see, just a spelling error, red squigglies. We've had this forever, no surprise. We've integrated grammar checking inside of Office Online. So when I say this being more higher, I think maybe just higher is better text. But we've actually now added this capability called Writing Assistance, where it actually helps you become a better writer. And you can have a bunch of capabilities over here. In this case, I say the water surface area that is large in size. Instead, I can just actually say large, which is more concise writing. This is actually helping you become a better writer. So if English is not your first language, or if you're like me and English is your first language, and you didn't get a very good grade in high school, it really helps you learn to become actually a better writer. And here's sort of a really interesting case here. We said we have hundreds of technicians manning the field. When I right-click this, it says consider using gender-neutral terms, staffing. So I'll choose staffing here, and I'll change manning to staffing. This is a great way if you want to make sure that your company sort of applies to your policy on how you want to communicate. You can have geopolitical terms in here. Again, this is all based on intelligent services where we'll actually learn what companies control and actually manage how they want to give guidance in terms of how people do their writing styles. And the very last thing I'll do here is, of course, with track changes. I can just click accept so you can see the different places where they're sort of marked. If I click accept a bunch of times, I'll accept all the changes, and my document is now ready to go. So again, showing Word Online and really the richness we've made. I didn't really talk about performance, but everything in the product is really quite quick and quite fast, and we really worked hard on sort of that aspect of it. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to show you here is I'm now going to be in PowerPoint Online. I'm going to go and create a new slide. I'm going to show you how easy it is to create kind of a great deck here, and I'll call this solar, and I'll insert a picture, do a solar panel. And you'll notice Office Designer come up. You might have seen this before, but it actually is intelligence that actually looks at the photo. Based on the photo itself, actually shows you different layouts that kind of look great in terms of how you could actually draw it. So I could choose different layouts here and choose that if I wanted to. I don't think that's necessarily the best one. And create a new slide here, create another one. I could insert a shape. Maybe I'll do a little Pac-Man, something along these lines. You'll see what here is, I got a little message. It says, hey boss, when is your presentation? This is for my Grady here. I am presenting. Now, I am now presenting, something like that. And I can actually send these messages back and forth. So we actually have in-document real-time chat, and this works between PowerPoint Online and the web as well, or it actually works between PowerPoint on your Windows device. We actually let you, again, do cross-platform chat. But I'm going to go ahead and create this deck the way most people do, which is copy slides from other decks. And so in this case, I have this large PowerPoint deck. And I don't know how fast the network is here, but I'm pretty sure the answer is really slow. So when I click on this 100 megabyte deck, normally you would expect this thing opening up in PowerPoint to take, what, like 5 minutes, yeah. 10 minutes would be sort of a typical thing along those lines. You can see here on the web, even though this thing was hundreds of megabytes, or I think about 100 megabytes, had all sorts of pictures and things, it loads quite quickly on the web, because all it really has to do is actually load the individual data on demand. And so we really made opening up things as fast as we possibly can. I can go to this deck. Again, a new capability is that I can actually copy this slide, so I'll copy that. Oops, let me copy that and go back to my original slide. And I'm just hitting Control-V on my keyboard here and pasting it in. And I can now copy-paste slides between decks inside PowerPoint. So again, really trying to make PowerPoint nice and rich. I'm going to go ahead and click on this other presentation. Actually, before that, I'll just show you one more thing real quick. I'm going to go back to Office.com. When I went back to office.com, you'll actually see that there was activity here. So it actually said Grady commented 5 minutes ago on that Word document. So when you saw Grady add that comment, it actually shows up here now on office.com. Again, trying to show some of the richness that we have in the product. You'll see here that Grady actually edited this file that I clicked on, Contoso Interiors, 39 minutes ago. And so when I click on this file, Contoso Interiors, which I just opened up, you'll actually see highlighted kind of in green. Yeah, I think it's pretty visible on the screens here, that the slide was actually changed by another person. So if I hover over, it actually says the slide is changed. If I go over to the area, I can actually see which section of the slide was changed. I can go over here, maybe the next slide. And you'll see this picture, and I hover over, it was last added by Grady. Again, Grady, not so good. I'll go ahead and move the picture and sort of put it in the right place. Again, showing the richness that we have in PowerPoint Online. I'm going to go ahead and go to this slide right here and show you a little bit of some of what we've done with kind of drawing tools and animations. All right, so I will do duplicate slide. And so what I'm going to do here is just select all these guys, maybe move it down, maybe make the table bigger. You can see things like guidelines, for example. We have kind of a lot of the richness that you would expect. Maybe make this 40 inches. I can select this whole thing, maybe move it a little bit here. Then I'll go to transitions, and I'll apply the morph transition. And with the morph transition, you'll see how quickly it is to create animations. And I'm just going to go back a couple slides here, start the slideshow. What the morph transition does is it basically looks at one slide, looks at the next, and automatically creates an animation between the two different slides. All right, let's hope this guy comes up. All right, we'll try that one more time. There you go. All right, so these were the two slides before. This wasn't the slide that I edited. But the one that I just added right now is this one right here, and you can see however I put the chairs. That animation just worked. And so we really made it easier to actually create presentations by really automating a lot of the tasks. You could have done that in the past with like motion paths, and some PowerPoint expert could probably tell you how to do it. But again, we've made it really simple using PowerPoint and PowerPoint Online. And for the last part of the demo, I'm going to show Excel. We actually have a lot of data that in the enterprise, Excel is the most used application. And that's true for Excel Online as well. Actually, I'm not counting Outlook, but from Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And here's a big Excel spreadsheet. It has a lot of the capabilities you might expect. I can sort, I can filter. For example, let me click filter here and choose the ones from 2001. Click OK, these guys will show up. I'll go to this other sheet here. We now have pivot tables, pivot charts. We have slicers. So if I go and just select a couple of these things, you'll see the sort of data change. Again, kind of showing the richness and the interactivity.
The performance.
Performance, yeah. I'll click on shapes. I can now do things like shape, rotate the shape. I can move it around, point it in a different direction. Excel Online really now has kind of the richness. It used to be in Excel Online you couldn't open a document that had shapes. Now you can. We really want to support kind of the full richness. Now I have a bunch of data. I'll insert a chart, all sorts of chart types. So let me pick a line chart. I can change axes, grid lines, data labels. I'll do the chart title, above chart. Maybe I'll call this Grady's cost to company.
Really?
Yes, Grady, very expensive. It shows up right here. Some formatting. This is probably the #1 feature that we've been asked for. This is really interesting. It turned out you do Excel Online, you don't add conditional formatting, you hear from customers. So we've added conditional formatting. And again, because it's shared Office code, you have the full power of Office. And so the full richness of Excel conditional formatting, I can do more of the esoteric things like icon sets, where it shows me these little pie charts filled in inside of Excel Online. And again, we've really focused on sort of ease of use and performance. You notice everything I've done is kind of nice and fast. I can do things like you would expect in Excel and just select a bunch of things and click enter. But you'll also see autofill work. Again, some of that same intelligence that we're going to have across our apps, having it being really quick in order to create your spreadsheets, have your data, et cetera. All right, we got another sheet here. It's famous people named Michael. Just a coincidence that my name is Michael. And so I'll go ahead and click merge cells here, just showing that capability. You can also do format as a table. You'll see again how quickly it is to format as a table. And this one's a little subtle. So I'm going to do insert table row above. And you'll notice that what it did is it actually added a table row above in that section, but not the entire sheet. Again, trying to have sort of that ease of use intelligence that people expect. I'll type my name here. I was not born in 1964, but 1974. I'm not that old. And here's kind of another, actually, one of the top capabilities people ask for is actually data validation. So you can see this dropdown is actually coming live from the data that's over in this table. So you can pick who your favorite person is, favorite Michael, maybe Michael Jordan, could be Michael Fox, Michael Phelps. It's probably going to be me, so we'll choose me, and we'll do a thick outside border, and that all shows up just wonderfully. Next, I'm going to go over to this big set of data that I have. And normally, when you'd scroll here, you'd see everything kind of scroll off the screen. But now I'm actually just going to go and click on freeze panes and do freeze panes. Again, a bunch of the richness that you would expect in Excel. Now when I scroll, I can drag scroll, and it actually is just scrolling within sort of the frames themselves. And probably the second most, or maybe the number one, I'm not sure, between this and conditional formatting, asks for capabilities, the ability to add a pivot table. And so I do insert pivot table. It's going to take the data from this sheet. I can pick these two guys right here. It will show up. Now you have the full power of Excel pivot tables in Excel Online. And remember, this has all the real-time collaboration. It's going to have the app mentions. It's going to have the ability to work cross-platform. Again, taking all that power of rich authoring, all that power of rich collaboration capabilities, and combining them together. Again, just more stuff. I could add a filter. It would show up here. All the things you're familiar with. I'm sorry to show you all the things for pivot tables. And for the last part of the demo, if folks have phones with a QR scanner, you can bring them out. I'm going to go ahead and create a survey. While you're doing that, pay attention. I'll create the survey. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a survey and get that data back into Excel. So I click New Form in Excel. And the first thing that I'll do here is I'll say, what is your name? And I'll add a second question here, which is maybe, which day will you skip to Disney? I'm sure nobody's doing that. And you'll see that when I typed which day, it actually showed the different days of the week. So I just click add all, and actually all the days of the week as questions here. Again, showing the intelligent services that we're building. We actually look at the natural language of what you write and make it easy to add these questions. And so my last one here will be maybe, how satisfied are you with this demo? And when I type that, just how satisfied actually triggers it showing up these different choices for how satisfied you are. Extremely, somewhat, not at all. Again, I can remove not at all and not so satisfied because I know that's an impossibility for the folks here in the audience. And when I'm done with this, I can just click on Share. In this case, I'll make sure that you don't have to sign in and say anybody with a link can respond. And what I'll do here is I'll click this QR code. And this might be tough depending on the lighting in this room here. But if folks in the first couple rows want to take their QR code and point that at that. And for those that can't, I will do that on this phone, if I can navigate the phone here.
Yeah. Did you change it to that input?
Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and change it to this input. All right, so for folks that can't see that, you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull my phone here. You saw how it scanned it. And you'll actually see the survey show up right here on my phone. So I type in Mike. I'm going to go to Disney tomorrow. And I was very satisfied with my demo. And I will click that and click Submit. And there is my data. If you switch it back, Control 0. So now I can go back here, and I can actually see, well, we got 10 responses from the audience here. And the data is actually updating in real time. So he actually sees the questions. Hey, most people were extremely satisfied. Hey, you can see more questions are adding. It's actually showing up there live. And what's really cool about this is if I actually go back to the Excel workbook here, you can actually see all this data was actually added to the worksheet in Excel. So now I can create pivot tables, sort, filter, charts, all the magic of Excel on top of that survey data. So there I was showing you Microsoft Forms, again, one of the new entries to Office Online, and really a great reason to use Office on the web and to use Office 365. So that is a sort of a quick whirlwind demo of what's new and exciting with Office Online. All right, so let's see. We need to switch the things back.
Grady fails again.
Yes, Grady fails again. All right, so in terms of going forward, investments, we're really focused kind of in these four big areas. I talked a lot about these top two boxes. And so you guys saw in the demo a bunch of stuff around core authoring, a bunch of stuff around teamwork. There's going to be a lot more of that. So if you saw some missing feature that you're hoping for that you didn't see the demo, additional collaboration capabilities, we're going to do more around sharing and activity and seeing who changed what. And a lot more is coming that direction. The bottom two I didn't talk about as much. We continue to invest in enterprise security and compliance. When you're using our products on the web, Office 365, we will have great privacy. We will have great security. We'll have features like IRM, CLP, DLP, safe links. Like when you click hyperlinks, they're going to be secure. We're really sort of doing that. And then the last one, I'll show you a few pictures. we're really investing deeply in trying to make the product easier to use and easier for people to discover. So I'll show you just kind of a couple examples of that in a second. And so if I go here, you'll just kind of see a little bit of the roadmap of what's coming for Office Online. Again, in core authoring, a whole bunch of capabilities. Some of these things I demoed to you. Some of these are going to be coming. Everything I showed you in the demo earlier is going to be available by the end of the year in terms of first release in Office 365. Some of the stuff that I showed you is in production now. Some of it will be here in a few weeks. But everything that I showed you is all real code. None of it was made up. And then we're going to be working on more and more stuff along that space. We're going to continue investing in teamwork. If you remember that scenario I showed where you could say sort of just for me for track changes, we'll make it easy to actually share a document out. When you share it, only give that person permissions. We call it comment-only permissions or change-only permissions. So you can send it out and sort of make sure that their changes are always tracked and sort of always managed. In that enterprise security, we have a lot of data here. I guess they had the old version of my deck here with need text, but I'll fix that. And then for simplicity and ease of use, I'm going to show you just a little bit of a hint of what's coming in terms of the experience. In these sort of next pictures, I'm going to have to caveat this. So again, everything I showed you up to here is real stuff, real code. What I'm showing you now is an artist representation of the future. These are concepts. These are not things we're shipping. This is not real experience. These are videos. But just trying to give you a little bit of an idea of where we're going with Office in terms of collaboration, people working together, and a little bit of the direction that we're thinking about for Office and Office Online. So this first video, one thing we're doing is we're just trying to make sharing and collaboration front and center. And so we're actually doing things in the Office UI to put share comments and activity at the top level of the Office UI. We really want to promote collaboration to be one of sort of the top things that you see when you use Office. We'll still have all the rich commanding and authoring, but really make sure that that pops. You can also see rich capabilities here. Again, bring comments. It'll show up the pane. You can see all the app mentions. I kind of showed that in the demo. I can click activity and see everything that happens. When I click on a person, we'll show their picture. I can go and navigate where they're typing. Again, trying to make collaboration kind of a first and sort of core part of the customer experience. The second one, if you remember before when I clicked on office.com in my actual demo, it showed there was activity. Well, now actually anytime you open a presentation, there was a change that will actually pop up and say, hey, while you were gone, Kat, Gabrielle, and Frank made these changes. You click go to change, it'll actually take you directly to that change and highlighting that change. Again, about simplicity and ease of use. Yes, there'll be an activities button that you can go and click and find it, but we really want to make sure that people discover and get the value of Office and really find the collaborative capabilities. And this kind of last sort of vignette here, we show someone in Excel. And one of the hard things with Excel is you often have multiple worksheets. You might not be able to see on the worksheet you're on where the changes are, because they could be on a different worksheet. Here I can bring up this activity pane. We'll show you everything that happened to this worksheet. So again, maybe I don't trust Grady. Maybe I trust him greatly and see what changes that he wanted to made. And you can see in this little video here, when you click on a different name, here's bringing up activity again. You click on a name. It kind of navigates you to that location, shows you the chart. Click on something else. It kind of comes up to here. Go somewhere else. You can kind of see that showing up. And again, probably having kind of rich capabilities. So again, this is not just sort of an example of a feature, but where we're going in terms of collaboration, ease of use, and really trying to have it be a great customer experience. So I want to thank you guys. I want to go a quick couple of calls of action. Just a reminder, who can benefit from Office Online? This is the same slide. I'm not going to walk through it again. But if you really meet any of these criteria, I'd recommend that you do what we have on the following slide, which is actually I'm going to recommend the second bullet, which is go to office.com. You go to office.com today. If you want to see the Forms capability that I demoed, click on Forms. If you want to try to use Excel Online and do all the pivot table, actually the pivot tables won't be there till the end of the year, but a lot of the other capabilities that I showed, you can start using it today. It's got a lot of the stuff that we showed, really rich and valuable. Of course, we have more.
Fantastic search as well. Yeah.
Fantastic search. Co-author document, the real-time co-authoring is all working. Get your friends, try that out. And of course, we'll be at the booth here at the expo. You can come visit us, ask us questions along those lines. And I do believe I have a couple minutes if anybody has, of course, standard slide on evaluate your session, which would be greatly appreciated. Wouldn't it be nice if we had it as easy as the QR code that we had there? And I have a couple minutes if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, you need to use the mic.
Yeah,
please.
use the mic. Okay, I can repeat it.
So one thing that's a bit confusing is when you're using Office Online and you're using
launched Office Online from Teams, because I'm collaborating in Teams, and we're doing comments there. Isn't that in Skype, and is that a different place where these comments are coming, and then do we have two streams going?
Yeah, really great question. So I'll try to repeat it for the first half. So what I showed you is adding comments to Office documents and the ability to reply to that. And the question was, if you're using Teams, within a Teams channel, you can also have a conversation going. And there is kind of overlap in that scenario. And yes, that is true. And it's actually a really interesting area for us to explore today. We've had comments in Office documents for 20 years. I'm not sure how long Office has had that. And so we will continue to support the notion of documents that are sort of natively inside that document as part of the file format that you could share. You could put it on a USB drive, et cetera. And then Teams has sort of the conversations in channels. I'll say we aspire, so this doesn't exist, I'll say we aspire to sort of have those experiences converge, where you could go to Teams and actually when you're in Office, see that Teams conversation about that document show up actually in the Office canvas. That's not the case today, and so I think it's a thing that we think is good feedback and something that we're looking at for the future.
I have a question. Do you guys work on increasing the size limit of any of the online documents, like for example Excel, PowerPoint? This is where basically we are blocked with a lot of use cases.
Yes, okay. So when I said that pivot tables and conditional formatting were the number 1 and number 2 asks, I left number 0, which was probably bigger Excel spreadsheets. And so yes, the Excel Online team is actually working really hard on increasing the size limit that they have there. Typically, the Word and PowerPoint, those can open extraordinarily large. So it really is Excel that we hear this feedback on. I believe there's actually an accession on Friday for Excel Online. I don't have that code with me. But if you want to go there, they can give you more of the details. But that is actively being worked on, and we do expect a pretty significant increase in the size of Excel spreadsheets that Excel Online will support.
Or come to the booth. We've got folks from Excel at the booth. So. Yeah.
Actually, it is also in PowerPoint because what we found with the sales presentations, sometimes they're really large with images and videos, and they also cannot use PowerPoint online.
Yeah. So that one's great. So she also mentioned that PowerPoint Online today. So yes, so what I showed you was code that's rolling out over the next few weeks. So before, if you tried to open up that 100 megabyte PowerPoint deck that I showed, it would have taken 10 minutes if it loaded at all. You guys actually saw that live in the demo. I clicked, it opened up in maybe 5 seconds. And so we've actually done an incredible amount of work, and just even I think about the next month or so, that should be coming out to most customers, that even the largest of PowerPoint decks will actually open quickly, including ones with large embedded videos and pictures. So that's another big change that was actually something we showed and something we're really excited about.
So if you want to wait till the end, we actually have an Excel expert in the room, sitting over there typing.
All right, anything else? All right, well, I want to thank everybody and encourage folks to go to office.com. Is the good thing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.